All right, who came up with at least 5 ways that they show their parents respect every day? All right, awesome. Good stuff. Okay, what you guys do is you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna turn around so you're facing me because we're gonna chat for a little bit before we get up and start moving around some. Thinking about slide back so your back is at mom or dad. Fantastic. All right. So we've got a good range of kids here, parents. So we try to find that happy medium. So obviously our topic of abduction prevention can get pretty dark. So we try to stay somewhat away from that, but it's also a reality. So if you guys did not see in the Facebook group, there were 2 abduction attempts in Macomb County. That was about a week and a half ago. One of them was simply a grab and take. So we're going to cover some of those aspects today of what to do in that situation. But we also want to start from the top. So we basically like to talk about what's we call stranger danger. So in essence, there's lots of different ways that people or groups will teach this process. This is the one that I have found the most effective in 31 years of doing this. So my definition of a stranger is anybody your mom or dad has not introduced you to. Period. All right. Parents, this helps take care of all of the tricks and little sneaky things that strangers like to do. Like, hi, my name is Mr. Stracker. What's your name? We're not strangers anymore. I just told you my name. All right. So to me, they are a stranger until mom or dad introduce you and say that that stranger is okay. Part 2, parents, is making sure that we teach not all strangers are bad. This is how we teach kids to be afraid of people. Right? There are bad strangers and there are good strangers. We just haven't met them yet. All right. So with that in mind, you're going to turn around and talk to mom or dad, come up with some examples of a good stranger and some examples of a bad stranger. And I'm going to ask you in 1 minute. Go. Who would be a good stranger? Who would be a bad stranger?
Yeah. No. What do you
Did you hear that?
Sounds great. We know.
We don't, but yeah.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, that would be bad.
But I don't.
Even though they're not a stranger.
No, but you know, I'm working there.
Four, 3, 2,
Yeah, we don't go in.
1. And time. 2 claps. All right. Who's got an example of a good stranger? Who would somebody be a good stranger? A school teacher, right? How many of you have already met your teacher for this year? Right? So you met them, but they're still kind of a stranger because you've only seen them maybe once. Right? But they're probably a pretty good person in most cases. I like it. What else? Good strangers. Again? Okay. I wouldn't go that far. So he said store employee. That's a little bit too general for me because we don't know the background and store itself. Who in the store? Not yet. They're a little bit harder to see these days. Maybe with security. And security guard security system generally has a little bit more of a vetting system where they have had to pass some type of background check, whereas every cashier or store employee may or may not have. All right. So now we'll talk about that though in emergencies. Good stranger.
a neighbor that you don't know, but they have been on the
Okay, but if they check in and say, hi, Arnie, don't you know them? No. Good, right? A neighbor in your subdivision. They might be 4 houses down or 2 houses down, depending on where you go. One more. Good stranger.
a police officer.
A police officer, right?
Or like a,
Or a firefighter.
Yeah.
Right? Those would definitely be good strangers. How about some bad strangers? Who would be some people? Oh, that's everybody. And I would 100% disagree that everybody on the planet is bad. Continue. Okay, so a bad stranger is somebody that might hurt you, but that's what do they look like? Do bad strangers all wear glasses? I hope not. Right? Do bad strangers all have beards or mustaches? So what are some things? What would be an example? Roosevelt, what would be an example of a bad stranger? A robber? Okay, what's he look like? Those darn masked people. That takes care of all of the marbles. All that stuff. I mean, okay, somebody wearing black.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that personally. No, the basic answer is you don't know. Right? Sometimes they may look like the nicest people in the world. And a lot of times they're going to act that way because they're trying to trick you. Right? So that's what we want to be careful of. So next step we want to talk about is just because you don't know somebody does not make them a bad stranger. We already talked about that. All right. But what are some things that a bad stranger would do or act? So parents, this is key. We want kids' red flags going off when things start happening. For example, a good stranger will never ask you for help. Right? Strangers, adults don't ask kids for help. They look for other adults. So, turn around, face mom or dad, go through some situations or come up with some scenarios or stories of how a bad stranger, what might a bad stranger ask you to help them with? All right, 1 minute, go.
They can say, we can groceries in the car. And then you try to help them, and they come.
You help me find my Really? They wouldn't ask me.
Stop. 4, 3, 2, 1. And time. 2 laps. All right, we've got an example. What might a bad stranger ask you for help for? That doesn't happen. A child not paying attention to their parents and just keeps walking? What planet does that happen on, Donovan?
What would they ask you?
What would they ask?
Would you help me find my dog? Family. And I would just go get that.
Okay, so there's a key element too. So pets are obviously a big ploy. Right, now here's the key though. This is things that we studied and we found out about 25 years ago. Right, who likes dogs?
Me.
Who does not like dogs? There's no wrong answer. Right. So this was one of the key elements that they found when they were doing these type of abduction things, talking to kids. Right? Oh, my kid would never go for a dog. They hate dogs. Yeah, but they love cats. Suddenly the stranger says, well, would you help me find my cat? Absolutely. So you always have to go that extra layer deep to make sure that it's the process, not the thing. Meaning, a stranger's going to ask you to find something, whatever you think. Maybe you lost your axolotl.
Oh no.
I know. He would be so sad. He just got it. right? And it would be thirsty and drowning or not suffocating. There he goes, it's underwater. So don't get stuck on, well, my kid would never like that because, right? Well, my kid would never go for candy. We don't eat candy. Okay, but it could be anything else. All right, what else? What would a fast stranger might ask for? Directions. Yes. You know how to get to. All right. And now, parents, here's where some of the natural conflict comes in. Right? There's a lot of psychology that predators in general will use. And so they know how you raise your kids in general, right? Who wants their kids to be polite? So what do you do when you're spoken to? Answer. It's rude not to. Uh-oh. But now when a stranger comes up, what are we telling them? Well, don't talk to strangers. There's a natural conflict in their head now. Well, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers, but I can't be rude. But I'm not supposed to talk to strangers, but I can't be rude. Which one's going to win? You're flipping a coin. So that's why we want to get very situational with these things. With a stranger, you absolutely have every right to be rude. Because they're not going to ask you for directions. Right? One more. What's another one a bad stranger might ask you for?
Another thing that I ask you for is the concept of like their coffee.
Okay. Right? Hey, can you come help me with and ask you to go someplace? An adult will never ask you to go anywhere. All right? That would be a bad stranger. So right away, those red flags should be going up and off. All right? Good. So now what we want to talk about is a game plan. Got to have a game plan. How many of you have a safety plan if you ever get separated from your parents? I know that's why you're here today. It's something we don't think about. Right? I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready? We went to the Michigan Renaissance Festival. What were the instructions you were supposed to do if you got separated from us? It was a year ago, so I'm going to give them a little slack. But that's what we did. We are in a place where there's going to be tons. If you haven't been to the Renaissance Festival before, it's outdoors and it's just it's a bazaar. It's huge. I mean, shopping, not like bazaars and weird, right? But it's just a big shopping place. If you get separated from us, you find right an employee, and we will find you. Then her role was to stand where we last saw him, and my role was to start walking around and looking. Everybody has a role. Whenever something happens, it gets separated. All right, so that's the first thing I want you guys to think about. You're going to turn around and face mom or dad. Just start thinking. You're not going to come up with a plan right now because it's pretty in-depth. You got to think about it. But what are some situations that you need to have a safety plan for? And then we can build from there. 2 minutes. Go. What's your safety plan?
Then you get lost. For example, the carnival, when you get lost, what do you do? Huh?
Exactly what you did yesterday. No, yes, what you did yesterday. You went over there.
You said, "Lost my mommy."
Whole thing we did, we tested it yesterday.
Oh, great.
We went to that Warren Bash
Okay.
and she,
Mm-hmm.
and then she started looking and we kind of like, you know, keep an eye on it to see what she's gonna do. She went, well, we were last place and she asked to put it fifth.
You started crying, you know?
Absolutely. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
But it's a better, that's what we call scared straight. Have you heard that term before? You know, it's an old term in the US where back in the 80s, there was a process of taking juvenile delinquents and taking them to a prison to show them what their life was going to be like if they didn't straighten up. So the system was called scared straight.
Yeah, but it was a perfect opportunity yesterday. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
If she was on one side, I was on the other. I mean, I was looking.
But
Daddy would go.
So you did a good job. That's what you did.
and time. 2 laps. All right, who's got a general thing you have to have a safety plan for? Yes, sir.
Get lost, don't go there.
Good. So use that, a meetup spot. If you were to get lost, what would be the situation?
If I were to go somewhere, where I just want to go by myself, and I don't know where I am.
Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking, I want a situation where that would happen, like a fair. Lots of fairs coming up. Apple orchards. You go out for cider, donuts, apples, right? Things like that. So that would be a good one. Who's got one more? Yeah.
So like when you're taking and like you lose them, like as a security
You lose
guard.
your parents.
I don't lose them over, I'm telling you.
Correct, you would ask a security guard at a fair. Yes, ma'am.
Malls.
Malls, right? So any place where there's a bunch of people, that's the bottom line. Any place where there's a group of people that you can get separated from your parents, that's where you should have a plan, right? So now again, we take that same process. Already put you on the spot once. His number one responsibility whenever we're out and about is to know where we are. And we remind him of that. And we did the same thing. They were just telling me the story. They went to the Warren Bash yesterday and somebody got a little excited on the ride about the rides and went and took off. So they both went, huh, stepped away for a little bit. They could still see her, but now what is she gonna do? And she did a great thing. She went back where she last saw mom and dad, and then she looked for her security guard and they ended up getting back together. There's nothing wrong with testing it. It's always better to test it before you need it. All right, so you say, when's the best time to learn how to swim? Before you ever get in the water. All right, while you're drowning, it's not a good time to be going, I should take those swimming lessons. Not very, very good. All right, so that's our thing. It's his number one responsibility is to know where we are at all times. So when he doesn't, who's in trouble? Okay, he already knows he's in trouble. How did you lose us? That is your one job, right? Because then it's real fun, especially things like the Renaissance Festival. Hey, can I have that really cool sword? I don't know, you lost us.
Yeah.
It's a whole different conversation now. Right? So that's where we put things in place. So my point being, you want to be proactive with all of these things because it's a lot easier. There's nothing worse than when you're emotional, you're freaking out because your kid's missing. And now you're trying to think what to do next. If you have a plan in place, then it works a whole lot better. All right. So what other specific situation where you're going to have a plan? What would be a good plan? Okay, you do competition cheer at like a convention center with thousands of people maybe, right? So that'd be easy to get separated, right? And again, sometimes it's the simplest things, but if you make it a habit, it becomes super simple. When we go to the movies,
Oh, yeah.
right? Well, she needs to go to the bathroom and we go to the bathroom. Guess what? Everybody comes out at different times, right? So before we go in, it's I will meet you here. And if you're not here, then we know there's a problem, right? And it seems silly that, well, we have to get that specific. Yes, but guess what? We don't ever have an argument at the movies. Because even though when he gets excited and takes off, if we're standing there, he knows to come back. And so that's that same process. There's nothing wrong with being extra specific. You never be in trouble for being too specific. All right, good. All right, so now if a bad guy, when is it okay not to talk to a bad stranger? Let's review that. When is it okay not to talk to a bad stranger? Roosevelt? Anytime. Everybody say every time. Right? So anytime somebody is talking to you that you don't know, it is perfectly okay not to speak back. But parents, let's help them out. What do they need to do in that situation? Because you got to train this because it doesn't happen. What do you want your child to do when a stranger approaches them and starts to talk? Say leave.
Yeah.
I'll help you. Right? Everybody say leave. Leave. But you have to teach them. If a stranger comes up and starts talking to you, walk away. Right? Otherwise, they just stand there. Right? It happens here. How many times have you watched me talk to your child and they just stare at me? Right? And I know I'm not speaking German, but they're just like, well, a stranger would do the same thing, but now guess what can happen next? Right? And then real quick, not to get super graphic, but this would be one classic situation. Right? This is the psychology that attackers have been using for decades. What is your child likely to do if a stranger grabs him and starts to pull and walk away? Are they going to be quiet or loud? They're going to scream, right?
Yep.
You ready? Watch. I guarantee. Take care of it in 1 second every single time, 100% of the time. Every parent watching. You just wait till I get you home. What does every parent now think? What a brat. Uh-oh, no, that kid's being abducted. Right? So now we're going to cover some of the things to make sure that we say. But that's the psychology and the depth that predators will get to. That's why we want to stay one step ahead of them. Right? How much of this freaks you guys out right now? Scares me to death. Right? But that's the point, is by knowing what is possible to happen, we're able to avoid it because we have a plan. And so that's our biggest step. So let's play that game. I'm going to give you a quiz. I have 50 points in my pocket. For the first person who can tell me what should you say when or if a stranger ever grabbed you and started taking you away. You can work with mom and dad, figure it out as a family. The family will share 50 points.
Wow.
You're exhausted.
I know. I know.
There's
Very loud.
Oh, here's a better one. You're down.
Don't use the Ferrari.
That way you know that somebody.
It's real loud. Help.
come out.
You can hear me? It's really loud. It's really loud.
Stop. Not burping, man.
3,
No, something trying to feel it.
2, 1. And time. All right, I heard a couple right answers, so I'm already impressed. Most of the time, nobody gets it. So what's the right answer?
You're not my.
Boom, you're not my parents. Help, you are not my parents. Right? Just yelling help, rat. Right? And in some instances, in the old days, you would hear yell fire. Fire's okay, at least it gets people to look because it might involve them, but it still doesn't get them to zero in. You hear a child yelling, help, you are not my parent, are you going to pay attention?
Yeah.
Are you going to get involved? You're probably going to step in. Hey, what's going on here? You're at least going to potentially evade or get rid of the situation. So 50 points for the beginning. Yes! Awesome. All right, so that's enough sitting. We've been sitting for a little bit. So we're going to stand up. We're going to have you guys, you can welcome to use that side, but we want most people over here. What we're going to, not dads. Sit down. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we have a strong voice. Most of you guys, when you did your introductory lesson with Mrs. Strucker, learned exactly what to say. What are the magic words to stop a stranger in his tracks or her tracks? Really? That's it. Get up here. That's your dot. If I get you, I get the axolotl. Good. And like the voice. Oh, stay. Right, that's a classic mistake. He got overexcited, so he came into a gauge. That's one of the things we're going to work on. Awesome voice. 10 points. Take a breath. I know it can be kind of scary. Right? So don't step in, step back. All right, just like we've done before. There, right? That's going to put that instant freeze. It's just natural instinct to stop for a second. I might continue, but now he knows, red flag, this is a bad stranger. So I want you, 10 points. 2 claps for Donovan. All right, so I want you to stand up with mom or dad or your partner. All right, we always have the kids facing the windows. Parents will be facing the back. As they approach, your job is to step back, hands up, and say, stop it there. Yes, sir. All right, come on over this side. Fill up this side first, then we can use that side second. That's why you're here today.
Step back. You gotta step back. One back. Step back. Like that. Look how he does it. See how he does it? Do that. Go. Gotta step back. Yeah. Forward, backward.
I don't know, it's out of date there. Go ahead, sit down, crisscross real fast. Let's go change it. It's looking good. All right, everybody say bad dog. For those of you that have dogs, you know that voice. We call it the bad dog voice. So that's the voice you want to use when you're saying stop right there. So some of you are getting excited. And when you get excited, does your voice go up or down? Up. All right? Because you're excited. See, get ready, fire, go! That's excited. Right? So what starts to happen then is you can't understand what you're saying. Some of you are getting excited. You're going,
Yeah, you gotta.
and guess what? They're going to say, what? As they come in and grab you. Right? So everybody say, bad dog. Oh, okay. So throat, bad dog. Say it, bad dog. Ooh, that's good. Better one. Bad dog. Good. Dog, right there.
Right there.
Right, so we want to use that voice. Number two, both of you are letting mom or dad get too close. If they can reach out, like when I grabbed Donovan, it's too late. So you need stop right there sooner. What we want to work on is learning their distance. All right, so Donovan, where are you going to please?
Sir.
Go ahead and sit back. Arms up. Sit. Good. So now a couple things. You don't want the arms locked because then I can pull and take him with me. Right? So arms up, but elbows set. There. That means stop and I'm under control. This means I'm afraid. Body language. So a little bit closer in, keep your elbows against your body, and up. Go ahead, one foot front. There we go. Nice. Now it should be stop right there from here. I can't get him. But if he lets me get here, stop right here. Sorry, it's too late. All right, so we have to practice. So we're gonna spend about 5 minutes working on distance. All right, say I'm told. Yeah. We always like to get a courtesy about a mom or dad. You say, yes, I can. All right, go ahead. Stop right there in a bad dog voice. Go.
Don't get excited. Be serious. No. I just want you to do this. Don't explain it. Expand it. Don't expand it. This right here. This, look. Stop right there. Stop right there. Let it. Stop right there. Don't be excited. Don't be excited. It's just not no keyboard. Stop right there. The bad dog in your arms. I need a bad dog.
Trying to look better. Yeah, this takes lots of practice. Just doing it once or twice isn't going to suddenly make you safe and able to do it. So, a couple people still seeing, right? What we said, bad dog voice. What's another thing that has to be believable? Your face. Does that look like I mean it? Up right there. If you have a smile on your face, right, that guy's not going to believe you. Okay? We're going to practice for 2 more minutes. And then guess what? Sometimes the bad guy doesn't listen. So what do you do then? That's what we're going to work on next. Sometimes the bad guy doesn't stop. All right? So, bad dog voice, serious face. All right? You can be as happy as you want on the inside, but on the outside, you're bad. Kind of like your first day of school for a lot of you. Yeah, wake up and go to school today. All right, 1 more minute. Stand tall. Let me see karate faces. Go. There.
Yes.
There's one final thing before we go to the next layer. So when we talk about martial arts, how many repetitions do you need to practice something to have it down? What's the magic number? Okay, we talked about that for belt testing. There's one magic number we talk about. To earn your black belt, what is it? 10,000 repetitions before you've internalized and mastered something. That's not karate, that's anything. Right? So when you do this, and we've been doing it for 10 minutes now, do you have it ingrained and you know how to do it now, or do you need to practice more? Practice a lot more. So that's what I want to get across first. Walking out of here today going, I'm safe, is the worst thing you can do. Walking out here going, I got some stuff to practice, is exactly what we're hoping for. Right? What's happening now is most of you are trying to go too far. I said don't put your arms out, so now you're coming too far back. What's wide open right now? That my whole face and that, so I don't want to get punched or kicked. It's step back, one hand in front of the other, with your elbows against your body. So this is a safe position. This means you're under arrest. You know, that's weird. Right? So one hand in front, show mom or dad with that bad dog voice, and then we go to level 2 when they don't stop. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. Louder.
Stop right there.
Looking and sounding good. Now, when we get started with this next round, you guys are going to want to move forwards a little bit because you're going to need a little bit more room. You don't have to move just yet. All right, like I said, what happens with bad guys? Do bad guys always listen? All right, so sometimes they're not going to stop. All right, so what we want to do is we want to be smart. So when somebody approaches, the first thing is to step back. Stop right there! If they take another step, you have one job. Turn and book. All right, why is it important to turn? What happens when you're not paying attention around the house and you just run around? You find walls and doors and tables and chairs, right? So I don't want, stop right there!
Boom.
Right? Then you hit something and you trip and you fall down and now the bad guy's got you. Right? So parents, what you're gonna do is far enough away, start approaching. When they say stop right there, freeze, and then again. Turn, look, book it. That's your job. Yes, sir? Now, can you book it in here? No, we don't have enough room. All right, so be smart. Okay? Go ahead, you got 2 minutes. Parents are not, look, tell you what, parents, you choose to stop or not. Help them out, mix it up. They may or may not stop. They can do what they want. Go.
No, really, you take another step. It's like run and run. Run and run.
Stop right there.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Why you going all around? Hey, you don't have to go all around.
Are you ready?
Stop right there. Stop right there. Come here. Come here.
Running to the wall. Just take that step like you're in sixth grade, right?
Come here. Let me explain it. Come here. And say, look. If you say stop right there, if you take another step, then you run.
All right, ready?
Stop right there. Go on. Go on. Stop right there. Okay. All right.
Who wants to see on the goal? Oh, I don't think I do. Who wants to see on the goal? It's not. Who wants to see on the goal? Good guy. My school, my rules. So, what we started to work on is what kick, intermediate belts. What kick are you working on this cycle? Ah, a back kick. Interesting. Advanced students, what belt are you working on? Spinning back kick. Ah, interesting. So, in different situations, if you have lots of training, which is why we do martial arts, slow motion, so I don't hurt you. Right, if he steps in, stop right there. Say he decides not to. Bam! I get to get rid of him before I run away. Everybody say, oh. All right, next, what I do want you to do though, okay, what I do want you to do though is, again, sometimes the bad guy's either not going to stop or you weren't prepared. All right, how many of you know what an airplane is? What's on the front of an airplane that spins really, really fast? A propeller. All right, your arm is going to become a propeller. All right, so what's going to happen is he takes his step, I say, stop right there, but then I misjudge or he surprises me and grabs my arm. No! And then you get to clear out. All right, so hand, biggest circle possible, and I want to hear your voice. No! And then you get to take off. All right, this is the one time you're allowed to get away from mom or dad when they grab you. Just say. All right, so my son. Mom and dad are going to grab. Make sure that arm becomes a fast propeller. Okay, and go. And then, stop right there. Totally my fault. Have a seat. Right there. Real quick. This is absolutely 100% my fault. Let me be more specific. All right, he steps. Stop right there. Then he grabs. It's not going to work. That was my fault for not being specific. Make sure the hand that's being grabbed becomes the propeller, and it does not matter which direction. Whatever direction you want, but make sure it's the arm being grabbed. All right, go.
All right, we're learning lots. Raise your hand if mom or dad just hurt your arm. Be honest, because I saw 3 of you. Okay? Now, here's my point. Do you think a bad guy's going to grab you nicer or meaner than mom or dad? That's why we say train as if it were real. Right? If you got a little burn mark on your hand or it was too sore, good. That's what's going to happen in real life. Right? So instead of saying, oh, you hurt me. All right? You look at mom and dad and you go, thank you. Now I know what it feels like. Big difference, right? All right, 1 more minute. That's it. Wrong. Bad dog voice. And then propeller on. Stop right there. Steve, got 1 more. After I'll give you a little bonus one. Okay, everybody please stand. Yes, sir. Going to be unfair. I'll tell you that next. Now, I've been teaching the propeller for about 30 years to parents. And one time I had a parent come back and get mad at me because now when they were trying to control their kid at home, the kid knew how to get away. So, don't worry, I'm prepared for you, parents. It's called physics. So, what we do is when you grab the wrist, the weak spot is between the finger and the thumb. Right? So he knows how to propeller. He knows how to get away now. So if I grab, propeller strong. Come on, strong. Oh, man, now, darn, I can never grab my kid. Yes, you can. Change the weak spot. Right? So I grab, propeller. 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 Come on, get away. Get away. You get away, I'm going to give you a PlayStation 5. I know, it's no fair. All right, 2 questions. Right? So, in case you decide to use this at home for any reason, right, the weak spot is always in between. Now, this also helps for the women's self-defense that we've done in the past, right? If a man is trying to control, ladies, all you need to do is find the weak spot. She finds the weak spot and pulls. Nope, pull. She's going to get away from that weak spot. All right, so now you know the offense and the defense. Oh, cool. All right, last one. Sometimes, like with just now, right, if I'm a lot stronger, James wasn't able to propeller. So what could you do before the propeller to hit the bad guy thinking about something else? Stomp on the foot, right? You take your heel and you stomp straight down. Now, are we going to stomp on mom or dad? Only if you want to walk home. Okay, so stop right there. They don't, they grab. Parents grab hard. You try the propeller, it doesn't work. Stomp, then propeller, turn, and book it. All right, you got 2 minutes. Go. Stop right there.
Love it.
Stop right there. Right there. Right Oh man, it's already been an hour. We've been another time together, so we only got enough time for one more cool thing. All right, so sometimes, again, plans don't always go according to what we want. So what's gonna happen? No, yeah, I need a big, strong dad. Right, so sometimes what's gonna happen, right? Stop right there. He still comes in, he grabs. He's stronger than me, doesn't work, doesn't work. He's ready for me, and he's able to get away or stop me in whatever fashion. What is he gonna want to do next? Probably grab and take me. So we say drop like a rock. Right? So you just become absolute pure dead weight that they have to decide, am I going to drag this or am I just going to, okay, never mind. And let it go. All right, so stop right there. They don't. Grab, try to get away. Stomp doesn't work, drop like a rock. Let's see it. 2 minutes, go.
Yeah, like that, yeah.
Now grab my leg.
Good. Last card now. You already know the answer if you've been paying attention. Drop like a rock. They start dragging. What should be coming out of your mouth the whole time? Help what? Help. This is not my parents. Right? So as soon as you drop like a rock, that's what you just start yelling. So I want to hear all of it together. Right? Stop right there. Propeller. Stop. Drop like a rock. Then help. You're not my parents. 1 minute. Go. There.
You get 5 points.
Wow. Right? Yeah, yes, I can. Be safe. All right, go ahead, let's go back to the chairs, have a seat in front of mom or dad. Good, good job. All right, some of the things you hear us talk about. Go ahead, turn around so you see me. Where are you at? Some of the things you hear us talk about a lot in karate class. We have leaders and we have losers. You guys want to be leaders or losers? Leaders are going to go home and practice this with mom or dad, either outside or if you have enough room in the house. Right? Losers say, well, I came to the seminar one day. I know what to do now. Right? So this is again, how many repetitions before something is memorized? 10,000 times. How many did you do it today? Maybe 10.
Yeah.
We're missing the thousands on the end. So this is never a one and done thing, just like being safe isn't or anything else. All right. Parents, another fun skill we want to teach these guys to help even prevent any of this from having to happen is general awareness, especially in today's age. What does everybody do all day long? Right? You want to have fun? This is what I do for fun when I'm bored. Go to the mall. Walk through the mall and see how many people do not make eye contact with you. One of the first things that a predator is going to look for, right? So we talk about it again in our adult type seminars. Out on the street, let's say you're downtown or any city, right? A predator is going to walk towards you, and as soon as you look down and away, he knows you're now a victim. Because you won't be able to identify him later if he attacks you. That's why it's always beneficial to look them in the eye, hi, acknowledge them, and guess what? They wet themselves. Because they're like, hey, shoot! Now somebody knows me. Right? But everybody's so conditioned from lack of confidence not to make eye contact. So that's one of the things, that's why we work on these guys, right? Confidence all the time. Look somebody in the eye and acknowledge. You know, it can even be the simple guy acknowledge.
How you doing?
Yeah, all right. That's the Jersey one, right? Jersey is up, everybody else is down. So, right. At least at that point, there's some level of acknowledgement that something's going on. All right, but you have to feel whatever you're comfortable with and what's going on. So what I like to do for awareness, all right, take a look around the room. I don't want you to think about everything you see. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to look around the room. Parents, you're welcome to do this too. Look around at everything. Find everything you can. Good. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. I want you to find everything that's green. Find, nope, just look. Find everything that's green in the room. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Good, go ahead, close your eyes. Good, I want you to point to everything that's red.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, open your eyes. I already know the answer.
0.
Right? So what happens is if you're predetermined and you're looking for something, you tend to ignore everything else. We see this a lot, right? And have you ever bought a new car? And you're like, I got this great new car. I'm the only one. Oh, there's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. Then you see them everywhere because you now have it. Right? It's a general blindness to things that are happening around you. That's what we want to avoid with these guys to help keep them aware. So, for example, where is the exit? Should be pretty simple. There's only one. Right? But those are some things you guys can do with them whenever you enter a new place. Right? And you can take this to whatever level you want. You walk in, how many cashiers were at the register? 3 registers were open. Right? What did I ask you when you came in, ma'am? Right? I've developed my awareness after 30 years that I get you guys in the parking lot. I know what cars you guys drive.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right? And
I noticed that.
it's not a fear thing, it's just an awareness thing. So she was out combing Isabella's hair. And so as soon as she walked in, I'm like, can the line form here? And she was like, what? What? I'm like, the hair. And she said, oh, you saw that? Yes. Right? So what we talk about with the kids is, again, that general radar. What is a safe zone? So that's what we started today with general distance. If I can grab you, right, that's a danger zone. So we want them to be able to increase their general awareness zone. So giving them drills and challenges to do that will help. So you can do lots of things. When you leave the store, who was our cashier? Was it a man or a woman? What color was their hair? Right? Get them familiar with describing things that are going on around them. That's also going to help with their vocabulary and being able to identify. Right? What's the worst thing that a police officer has to deal with after a potential abduction? Trying to describe, right, who was it? Well, it was a person, man or woman. Tall or short? I don't know. Right. What color hair? Did they have hair? I don't know. All right, well, I'll go look for them. Right? But if you teach the kids to have that, it was a white van. Was it a white van? So in this particular shift, it was a middle-aged gentleman in his early 20s driving a white van. Well, great. Now the officers zoom and narrow down on something that specific and has a lot better chance of following and catching. All right. Last point. Here's one for you parents, and then any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer. I was watching a pretty freaky video last night as I was studying, getting ready for you guys today. So for parents, there's phishing scams going on now. How many of you ever received a text saying, hey, or hi, or what do you do, right? A general one that's not from somebody you know. As soon as you answer, you're now in a phishing scam. So the video went through, is about a half-hour video, so I won't go through the whole thing with you. But by that simple text conversation, the person ended up getting 40 data points on the person they were talking about. You only need about 6 to steal your identity. So by simply answering the text, you've already given them a data point that they know they have a valid phone number. So the most innocent conversation. Hi, I haven't talked in a while. How are you?
Who are you?
Who is this? I got a valid number. First data point. Hey, this is Dave. Isn't this Tim? No, this isn't Tim. My name's John. Second data point. And you think you're just having an innocent conversation the whole time they're keeping score, right? So I'm becoming extra aware of it. My parents are now 84 and 85. Right? Technology is freaking them out. So emails, all that stuff. So I work on this stuff all the time with them, which then allows me to bring it in on the opposite side with these guys. So, all right, takeaways. We just wasted an hour if you don't walk out the door learning something. Who's got something that they're going to go practice and or remember? Isabel.
Stop right there.
Stop right there. It's a good voice. Learning the right distance to do that. Good. Done.
Rock.
Again. Drop like a rock. Right? If somebody ever gets their hands on you, drop like a rock. Right? Hey, if you behave well, I'll show you the super secret one. Because sometimes bad guys don't drag. They pick you up and throw you over their shoulder. Oh, I got one for that too. Right? Set you. Good. Propeller arm. You know what's even cooler? Right? Somebody grabs you, you go. For whatever reason, it makes your arm go faster. I don't know why, but it does. It's really cool. Catch. Stop. Stomp the foot. If you try to propel it and they're too strong, stop. So again, psychology parents, what we're doing is we're distracting their attention. Right? If all my attention is here and I'm super tight, you're not going to get away. But if all of a sudden you stomp or kick and it's like, ow. Right? Now that gives them a chance and softens up. Good. I need 2 more. That's it. You know, step back, right? So don't step towards the attacker. Step away. Keep that distance. In. Yes, elbows against your body, not all the way out. I'm afraid, and not I'm under arrest. Not all the way in. Right? Elbows against, hands in front. Okay, you sit. Again.
Run.
I know you guys like the rock one, don't you? Jump like a rock. Right? The old days we'd say drop it like it's. You guys know the answer. Drop it like it's hot. Okay? Awesome. All right, parents, I need 2 takeaways. Come on. Teach the kids to be confident so you guys get to speak up too. Yes, sir. Have a safety plan in place for everything. It seems silly, right? Until you need it. Right? Perfect example. Where I got this from 25 years ago was a fire escape plan. If your house is on fire, where does everybody meet? Who's got a spot? I know, nobody does. Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. God forbid your house is on fire. You manage to get out and you're up front watching the thing go up in an inferno going, where's my kid? Well, their bedroom's up there. I hope they got out. Right? I guarantee any of us would be freaking out. In the meantime, they're at the back side of the house roasting marshmallows going, man, the house is on fire. This is kind of cool. Right? Because that's what kids do. They don't realize the danger. Right? So everything you need, if we get separated, this is where we meet. If our house is on fire, this is where we meet. All right, have a great plan. One more parent. Anybody, come on. Eye contact, right? Look people in the eye. Go to the mall. Have fun. Right? So see how many people look down and away. Start counting them. Yes, sir.
Check your surroundings.
Check your surroundings. General awareness. Right? So this is what we talk about with general confidence. And this is what helps prevent the attack so you never have to get to the physical stuff. I've got two choices. Choice number one that everybody makes the mistake on, especially with technology. Am I going to be a good victim right now?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect victim right now. Right? Am I going to be a good victim right now? I'm going to see you coming from a mile away, so I have a better chance of protecting myself. Get your head out of technology. Unplug. That's what you do? I haven't seen it yet, but we'll work on it. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Awesome. All right, I want to respect your guys' time. It has been an hour. Do you guys have any specific questions I can answer real quick? If not, we can do it privately. Awesome. Who's going to go home and practice? Make me a promise.
Sir,
Cool. Who's going to send me a video of you practicing? Find out. General rule, 20% of the people are listening whenever you speak. I just don't know which 20% right now, so I have to talk to all of you. All right? We had a little bit of fun today. Put your hands down. We had a lot of fun today. See, I help you with the tough ones. Good job. Stand up tall. Look at mom or dad. Say, thank you for bringing me. Look him in the eye. Say, what can I do for you this weekend? Awesome. All right, you guys are all set. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
We'll wait for the crowd.
We did a pre-order for them. We did order extras.
There you go. Super. Thanks for coming. It's great seeing you out on the floor with us. I did record it. Thank you for reminding me.